Hello, everyone, and welcome to AI4. Our next session is going to be led by Chris GERPHEIDE, the CTO of Bespoke. Please join me in welcoming Chris to the stage. All right, it's all yours.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get my slides up here. All right, great. Thank you for the intro. And indeed, my name is Chris, and welcome to this lightning talk. And here I want to talk about how we at Bespoke get machine learning research into production. So we develop an AI engagement platform for the tourism and emergency services. Our main product is a chatbot called Bebot, which we customize and then deploy for our clients, such as airports, governments, and tourism agencies. And it's already used by tens of thousands of users across the globe. To make this possible, we have an international multidisciplinary team ranging from machine learning engineers to technical product managers. And here on the screen is the skeleton of an end-to-end machine learning project with us. So we start by looking at where do we have opportunities or needs for machine learning. Then our R&D team jumps in and does literature reviews, creates prototypes, and typically using our data to determine feasibility of these projects. These are typically 100% offline, like scripts that output JSON when we say prototype. We then meet with other teams in the company to determine whether this feasibility is actually worth the effort to continue development to production, and that it's safe for our users. Then we develop a minimal version of integrated into our product. Often this is a version with training is still offline or manual, performance might not be the best, and we roll it out to a subset of users just to see what unexpected obstacles we hit. And then once we've gathered the data on initial performance, we implement the rest of the tasks that you really need for a robust feature. For example, this is the stage where we would implement live automatic training of our models behind the scenes, whatever the project may be. And this process does work well for us. So there's a lot of different steps here, but I think if there's one takeaway from this talk, it's actually this first step here that gives the most crucial difference between doing research in academia and research in industry. Because the point is not to find something novel when you're in industry, but it's to find something that is necessary and useful, even in the case of machine learning projects. So one project that I want to talk about where we've used this approach is when we decided to develop our core chatbot engine entirely in-house. Up until that point, we were using commercial dialogue engines. And this was the right move when we were just starting out, but as we progressed as a platform, we encountered some challenges. First, commercial services have limits on things like the number of questions you can support in the dialogue. Another example is there were simply languages that we wanted to support for our clients that were not available in those ready-made systems. Finally, the dialogue engine itself is only a fraction of the technology we need to ultimately offer a robust platform. So no matter what, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in-house. So at this time, we saw the need and we prototyped an in-house engine based on pretty simple statistical models. And even at that point, what we found was that this initial prototype even yielded similar accuracies when operating on our types of dialogues compared to the commercial engines. And so it was at that point that we decided, yes, let's move forward. And in addition to overcoming these limitations of the commercial engine, this move to in-house also enabled us to optimize the platform even further for our specific use case. So for example, we could introduce typo correction that just made sense for the type of content we were handling. We could also leverage the ability that we had to really inspect the internals of what the models were doing and the entire workflow was doing in order to customize answers for our users rather than giving a single flat answer. And finally, we can do things like tweak the sensitivity of the models to reduce the wrong answer rate and make it feel more seamless for our users. And so with customizations like these, we were actually able in the end to achieve accuracies of more than 15% higher than what we could do when we were still using the commercial older systems. The next example I want to show is about predictive typing. So what predictive typing means is using machine learning to try to infer or predict what the user is likely going to type next. Now, in the case of a chatbot, you often see it represented in a UI like this. And having this customized for your content really has huge potential. So for example, we reduce the errors that people are making when they input text, which raises the accuracy of the algorithm. It helps users input text more quickly, so people are happier. We can actually direct users to certain types of content that we just feel are better to show them. And also this feature has very low impact of errors. If we show something that's not totally correct, it's very low risk. So that means it's actually a really good candidate, good opportunity for machine learning. And when we rolled this out, we indeed saw a number of our key metrics go up that indicate overall that our users are indeed getting more useful queries from our bot. Finally, I want to talk about small talk, which is a really important feature for a chatbot. And for this one, I'm only going to focus on the need part. And the reason small talk is a great example is because there are so many possible research directions. This is already a cutting edge area with lots of active research going on. But the key for doing this research in an industry setting is sorting through these potential directions from a product or user perspective and identifying the use cases that actually move the needle in your business objectives. Otherwise, you end up spending an enormous amount of resources on something that may be technically novel, but that won't actually be usable or impactful in your product. And we did this use case sorting exercise as the very first step in this project, as you saw in that end-to-end project skeleton I showed earlier. And in my opinion, doing this kind of exercise at the beginning of the project was the single biggest factor in us being able to focus the R&D team's research even before the literature reviews started happening, so that all of the small talk prototypes made by the R&D team and ultimately the small talk feature we rolled out offered the best possible improvement to the platform overall that we could achieve. And with that, I'd like to thank you. And if you want to hear more information, that you can go to our link here at the bottom or follow me on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. A big virtual round of applause for you. Woo! All right, if you're looking for your next session, you can go ahead and check out the program page, or you can take some time to do a little bit of networking and connect with your peers. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you around.